Hey everyone, UVA Josh 1 here. This is my latest review of the XM Thanos quarter scale statue. Just got this in the other day. Really nice piece, has an awesome presence to it. It's massive, huge, and imposing. So let me get right down to the review. So this piece comes with 3 different heads, 5 different sets of arms, so lots of display options. I'll stop the video in between to show you the different options. This is my favorite combination, with him holding the cube. Now some have said, why is he holding the cosmic cube if he already has the Infinity Gauntlet? Great question. I think it's just a different display option. May not make a whole lot of sense if you're a comic purist, but still looks pretty cool. So let's get right down to it. So this is a quarter scale piece. It's per XM, it's again really well packaged. Their boxing is fantastic. Again, I'm not gonna really need to go through all that again since I've gone through it many times before. So there are a few issues with this. Most of them are minor, and I'll go through all those. So first of all, on the sculpt itself, I think it's really nice. I'm going to do a little spin around now. So really nice job overall on the sculpt. I have a couple little quibbles about it I'll tell you about in a second. Base is pretty simple, which is okay. Got the stairs, some skulls on the side. You see the, the Lady Death, or the symbol of death, the sickle. Again, really massive, imposing piece. So the sculpt, I'm mostly happy with. The only thing, I think the head sculpts could have been a little better. The Thanos head sculpts could be a little bit better. There are 3 of them. Like I said, I'll show you the other ones in a minute. They're by no means poor. They're nice, but I think they could have been better. The overall sculpt on the body is nice. Again, massive piece. A little bit, the weight issue has been brought up by others. I don't really have a problem with the weight. I think the weight is good enough. It's not solid. The body's not solid, but it doesn't need to be. It's not eggshell thin either, so I think the weight for me is a non-issue. Other issues I have on this, I think there could have been more detail, especially on the belt, for example. And just on the gold parts, there's some detail, but there could have been some, like a little bit of a worn use to it. A little more details here and there, I think, would have taken this piece over the top. So a little lacking in certain areas of detail, but again, these are not major. I think it's still got a very nice overall presence to it. And again, the base could have been a little more elaborate. But again, it's a nice base. So this is one display option. I'm going to stop for a moment and I'll put the others on. Hang on a second, guys. So here's portrait option number 2. This is the unmasked head, which is nice. I actually like this one a lot. I actually like this portrait more. I feel the helmet on the one I just showed you guys covers up some of the detail on the portrait. So I actually do like this one quite a bit. Alright, so now I'm going to head over and go ahead and set up the other display option. you guys get an idea about this portrait. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you guys before I put in the other swap out is one of my issues with it. You guys can see there's a gap here, and you kind of have to, you know, it doesn't want to stay, and it's just with the left arm. See, there's a pretty, compared to this side, which the magnet sits in and fits nice and snugly. This one, and on some of their other production pieces, I'm not the only one who has this issue. The arm just doesn't, if you hold it there, it may stay there for a second, but then it wants to just fall and not stay snug. And I don't know that it's the magnet or if it's the body or what the issue is, but I mean, it's not a deal breaker. It's just kind of an annoyance because, you know, it's more not just the aesthetics of it, but I'm just, you know, concerned that in the future there may be an issue. But I with it falling, I don't think it will. I think the magnet is fine. It just falls. It just kind of slips to this default position, which again is not ideal by any means. But you know, XM is gonna you know, try and help me out with that. Also, the other option is there's like this earthquake putty you can get to put in there to hold it and whatever. I'm not too concerned about it, but it's just one thing I'm not super psyched about. See that? It'll stay there for a second and then it'll naturally kind of go to this default position where there's this gap. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys that, and now I'm going to get over to the assembly of the other parts. Okay guys, this is the other display option, and there's one other hand. I'm going to just scroll over here and show you guys. There's a fist here with the Infinity Gauntlet. You can, you know, display on this hand if you don't want to have the one holding the cube. I mean, that's another. I'm not going to show you guys that, but I just wanted to show you there's this extra fist, and no, it's very nice, nicely done. Actually, I'm noticing my my little jewel here is missing from this one. I'll have to look around somewhere. It must have come off. So again, this is another QC issue where the little jewel came off. It must be sitting around here somewhere. I don't think it'll be hard to fix, but it's again, that's kind of a QC issue. Anyway, moving on, and you can see this one obviously has the jewel glued on. So anyway, onwards. So you can see here, this is the other display option where you can have him holding the Cosmic Cube with both hands. Pretty cool. This is another option. So now I think we've covered pretty much all the different parts. I'll go ahead with my reviews and scores, if you will, my grades. So overall on the Sculpt, I think it's a really good Sculpt. I'd give it overall an 8 out of 10 in Sculpt, and you know, subtract some a little bit from the base not being a little more intricate and involved. That's a little lighter than I'd like it to be. Lacking in some details in certain areas. So I'm giving it a pretty generous 8 out of 10. It's got an imposing presence. Now, as far as the paint is excellent. There are a couple areas on some, you know, mine is pretty good. There's one on the left, I can't really show it or see it, but under the left underarm, there's a little area where there's a little bit of bleeding of the gold paint. Not too bad, but it's probably not as tight paint job wise as some of their other stuff has been, but still very good. Okay, these are, again, we've come to expect such high standards from XM that when they're not quite up to their previous benchmark levels, we get a little disappointed. I mean, not major. So I'd say on the paint I'd give it about a 9 out of 10. Details, I'm going to give it about a 7 out of 10. I think it's good, but it could have been a lot better in terms of details on the overall piece, the belt. All of these areas could have been more detailed, and also again with the base. Production quality, normally XM gets a 10 out of 10 every single time for me. However, there are some issues with this piece. Like I said, the left arm doesn't sit as flush as it should. There's a little gap there. Again, it's workable, but a nuisance nonetheless. I showed you where that, for some reason, my green gem somehow didn't stay on. Again, I'm not the only one. There have been others that have had this issue where the green gem has popped off. Now I gotta look for it. I'm not even sure where it is. I'll have to look in the box and see, but that's a bit of a nuisance to say the least. And again, some of the issues, like I said, with the bleeding of the paint, we already talked about that. So normally I give XM about a 10 out of 10 on production quality. This one gets a 7 out of 10. Just because there are some issues that I think really are not up to their standards. So overall, I'm giving it about an 8 out of 10. Again, it's a nice piece. It's got a great presence, lots of display options. It's still really nice. I would have given it a higher score had XM lived up to its previous set standards in other areas, but that's pretty much it, guys. So overall, a really nice piece. I think it's you know, one of the best Thanoses out there. It's really in quarter scale. It's one of the only licensed quarter scale Thanos. So if you have a chance to pick it up at a reasonable price, I would get it. All right, and that does it. So that's it for my XM Thanos review. As always, please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave any comments. Have a great holiday, guys. Take care.